Hi, I'm Anne-Marie from BrambleBerry.com and SoapQueen.com. Thanks for joining me on today's Cold Process Soap Queen TV episode. Today, I'll be showing you how to make the very popular Peacock swirl. Now, I developed these nifty tools that help with perfect Peacock swirls every single time. The Peacock swirl is a beautiful technique originally inspired by paper marbling and made popular in soap making by Amanda Griffin from Love and Soap. This technique was used as early as the 10th century to make decorative papers or insides of book bindings. Just goes to show you, soapy inspiration is everywhere. So before we get started soaping, let's talk about these tools really quick. This is tool number 1, and it's designed to make the perfect linear drag, which is your base for your peacock bouquet. The second step is what creates the peacock plumage, or bouquet. These swirling pins are in a nice even chevron pattern so that you can get perfectly spaced peacock bouquets every single time. And what's nice about this tool is it comes apart easily so it can fit any mold you have. Now, if you've never made cold process soap before, please stop right now and watch the first 4 episodes of Soap Queen TV where I go over important safety things like how to use lye safely. Or you can just read the first few chapters of my book, Soap Crafting. To create the intricate look in our soap today, I'm using empty condiment bottles. These condiment bottles come with very small openings, so I like to cut the tips off just a little bit to make the opening a little bit wider to facilitate even pouring for the soap. This Peacock swirl uses an essential oil blend of Lavender Essential Oil and Anise Essential Oil. I love that the lavender is a very classic floral, but the anise gives it an herbaceous note. And for those of you that don't like black licorice, I promise you, it does not smell like black licorice in the final soap. You can use any fragrance oil or essential oil blend that you want, but the key is that it must be a slow-moving fragrance or essential oil blend. You need lots of time to work with this advanced technique. Another key to getting a perfect Peacock swirl every time is to have a lot of soapy surface to work with, and that means you need a lot of horizontal working space. This 18-bar Birchwood Mold from BrambleBerry.com gives me the perfect amount of horizontal, flat working space. And bonus, there's an optional silicone liner that you can put in there that saves lots of time when it comes to lining the molds with freezer paper. Because we need the maximum amount of time to work with this recipe, I've designed a recipe that has a lot of olive oil in it. Pure virgin olive oil or extra virgin olive oil will work. In addition to that, this recipe has coconut oil, palm oil, rice bran oil, and a little bit of shea butter for that extra skin-loving goodness. I've prepped my oils ahead of time and my lye water ahead of time, and so now it's time to disperse the colorants. The colorants I chose today are non-bleeding and provide lots of contrast. Disperse 1 teaspoon each in separate containers of Brown Oxide, hydrated chromium green oxide, Black Oxide, Burgundy Oxide, and 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil or any other lightweight oil. Then, in 2 other containers, disperse 2 teaspoons of Tangerine Wow pigment from BrambleBerry.com and titanium dioxide into 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil or another lightweight oil. I love my handy dandy mini mixer from BrambleBerry.com. You just put it into your container here. Now push it all the way to the bottom. Make sure your colorant's kind of a little bit mixed in, or else if you turn this on early, you get a big poof of colorant all over the place. You don't want that. Now, I'm going to suit up for safety. I am already wearing my long sleeves, but gloves need to be on. And of course, kids and pets in another room or preferably gone for the day. Carefully mix the oils and lye together by pouring the lye slowly down the side of the stick blender. This puts the lye water into the oils a little more gently and helps to get rid of bubbles. It's very important that you get all the bubbles to the surface before you start making the soap. So I like to do a little burp, just a tap, 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 to get all the bubbles that are trapped underneath the head of the stick blender to rise to the surface. Stick blend your soap until it's a very thin trace or just barely emulsified. Split your soap evenly into 5 containers, about 2½ cups each. Reserve that original container because we're going to be using it again. Now it's time to add our dispersed colorants to the soap. To our first one, we're going to be doing 4 teaspoons of titanium dioxide, 2 teaspoons of hydrated chromium green oxide. Then add 2 teaspoons of brown oxide, 2 teaspoons of black oxide, and finally 5 teaspoons of Tangerine Wow mixed with 3 teaspoons of titanium dioxide and half a teaspoon of Burgundy Oxide. It does make a really cool orange color. Mix these in with a whisk before adding any fragrance or essential oil combination. Just a little tip, I usually mix from lightest to darkest so I don't have to clean my whisk in between mixes. Pour each color into its own condiment bottle. Fill those condiment bottles about 1/3 to 1/2 of the way up. Now it's time to add 1 ounce of your essential oil blend to each container of soap. From a fairly high vantage point, pour the black soap. Once all the black soap is in, go ahead and pour the teal soap or the green soap, and this time pour into different areas than you poured the black soap. Next, go with the brown soap, and again, try and hit different areas than you went with the other 2 colors. And finally, our perfect orange. This is an in-the-pot swirl technique. Take this entire thing and pouring into 1 spot in your mold. You're not going to move it back and forth, just 1 spot in your mold. Start to pour. Wow, that is gorgeous. You can see the different colors are really coming through. Oh, I love that the end is the orange and the white. Ah, stunning. Now that that's in, it is time to use our condiment bottle colors. Alternating colors, for the most contrast, just start to squirt in a long zigzag pattern. Don't squirt the entire contents worth of your bottle on the first pass. These have to last you probably 7 to 10 times all the way through. Turn your mold every 5 or 10 times so you make sure the color is distributed evenly. Now that I'm getting to the end, it's really important to be cautious of air bubbles. Air bubbles make little splatters in the soap and it kind of ruins the beautiful bouquet or peacock effect. If you get air bubble splatters, don't you worry. You can cover them up, but you have to have a little bit of soap left in those condiment bottles to do so. Now it's time to use the special tools. Insert Peacock Swirl Tool 1 into your mold. It just goes about a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch deep because we don't want to ruin the design on the bottom. And drag it towards yourself slowly. Wow, that is gorgeous. Just that linear drag itself makes a wonderful design. Carefully remove this tool straight up and put it to the side. It's time for the Peacock Swirl Tool number 2. Insert this a good 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch into the soap. Pull this tool towards you, the same direction as step 1, in a very lazy S-curve pattern. You want these peacock plumages to meet. Think peacock feathers. What do they look like? Look and design that as you're pulling down. Whew, all done. Okay, pull this straight out. And now you'll notice some of the edges need a little bit of refining. Refine these edges with a chopstick, just doing a little artistic swoop. And over here, it looks like this could be refined a little bit. And right here. It's kind of artistic license here. Once your swirl is complete, cover the mold up and insulate it. Make sure this sits in the mold for a good 3 to 5 days. Because of silicone's natural abilities to kind of vacuum form to the side, it doesn't allow airflow in easily. This means it takes a little bit longer to release, but I think it's worth it to not have to line my mold. Now it's time to unmold the soap. And of course, I made this ahead of time so I could show you how easy it is to unmold. Here we go, and just gently pull from the sides, just gently. If you look down and you see that those sides are tearing, stop. Don't do it. Wait another couple of days. It means the soap is too soft. Okay, here goes. And you can see the airlock. You can see the airlock. It's breaking. And, oh, we're out. Whew. That looks so good. I love the high contrast colors of this mod design. Okay, this looks a little bit too soft to cut. See how a little bit of the soap is sticking to my knife blade? I don't want drag marks on the soap, so I'm going to set the rest of this aside for about 3 to 5 more days before I cut the final bars. That is a beautiful bar of soap. I love how these colors turned out, and the tool makes the Peacock swirl so much easier to do. Let these cure for 4 to 6 weeks before using. And until next time, happy soaping!